didn't know is Go Caps is our youngest P1. Go Caps is our youngest P1 at the age of 16. We appreciate her for being at the ground level of this thing. So we really do. So shout out to our youngest P1, Go Caps right there. And look at that. Look at that. Coco's in the building. And yes, I got you. I'm gonna take care of you. I'm gonna take care of your clip. I got it. I just have a lot going on, as always. But yeah, that's pretty amazing that we have a young P1, right? We got people in Hawaii watching us. We got people in Australia and England watching us on First Thing Podcast. Not to mention the millions and millions in the United States that watch us. You know, so hey, like I said, we had a lot of things happen over this past few days. Valentine's Day. How did that go for everybody? Was it great?
Right.
Was I all right?
I don't know about Ant.
Nobody giving up no details. Nobody's giving up no details.
It was a nice day.
It was a nice day.
Wasn't it nice outside or something? Right. It was a nice day.
Mm-hmm. What Bruce is saying? What you can't hear us on YouTube?
I don't know.
What is them?
Yeah. What are you talking about?
Yeah, that's
He's talking about us. He can hear us on Twitter, but not YouTube.
I think.
Yeah, my YouTube is working.
Yeah, I don't know what happened, Bruce.
Say what's up to everybody. And Bruce is asking, still a queen, Coco, how's it going? Right? Oh, I can hear now. He said he can hear now. Okay. It probably was that intro.
You gotta cut the volume up, Bruce.
If not, it probably was the intro knocked his woofers and his tweeters loose. You know, that bass be
knocking. Yeah, he got a little short in there now. Come on now. On her way to get a big body Cinnabon.
Oh yeah, she is. She said she's on her way to get a big body. They both working now. Got you.
Okay.
Like I said, in a little bit, we will be joined by Candy Waller. So, said the University of Georgia had some things pop off. Are you okay yet?
Oh, he's stuck.
He ain't frozen.
He's frozen. He's stuck. That's what it is.
He ain't frozen.
Do it again.
We had a few things happening over the last couple of days.
Yeah, I'm sorry for your loss.
Will Muschamp's
is this
nephew was hired by the Chargers as an analyst, and Todd Monken left the University of Georgia to go to the Baltimore Ravens, who they say may be trading, letting Lamar Jackson go to New England. So that's going to be interesting. And then they filled it with a guy who was once at Georgia once before, failed at all those other college spots, so they gave him another shot,
So let me get this right.
My 3 pieces in jeopardy.
Yep, it is.
Help me understand this. You got that can't get a head coaching job, but you got a guy that comes out of college, hasn't coached the NFL down, walks straight into an offensive coordinator job.
Who?
You talking about?
I just did.
That Tom Monken?
He was just at the University of Georgia, right?
Yeah, he coached with the Steelers and Tampa Bay.
Okay. Before he went to Georgia.
He was offensive coordinator. He was offensive coordinator in Tampa Bay when everyone was catching all the bombs. That was him.
That was him. What you talking about with Brown and the Killer Bees?
Right.
That was him.
Even though the head coach was calling the plays, he was the one who put the system together.
Right.
Now, that's what happened in Cleveland. I couldn't tell you.
So, but said, what about Mike Bobo? What's going on with that?
Mike Bobo, he coached at Georgia about, almost 20 years ago.
Right.
He was offensive coordinator with Mark Richt. It was decent, but everybody always complained about his play call, and he always seemed to come up short in big games. offensively, the thing we're trying to figure out right now with Bobo is, with him being an analyst last year, is he going to carry on with Todd Monken's offensive style?
No.
Utilizing the tight ends the way he does and going ahead. It's hard to tell. He's going to a few other places, and I mean, they put up points, but the offense wasn't going against teams that we're going to have to face this year. Coming up, we're back-to-back champs, so we're going to get everybody best shot, no matter how bad they are, how good they are. We get everybody best shot this year. Everybody want to say we're the first one to knock off the back-to-back champ. We'll get everybody. So is he going to be ready to call the plays sufficiently? Because lack of talent is not going to be a problem. You still got two tight ends.
It ain't the players, it's the coaches.
Right. You still got two tight ends. You still got three running backs, even though one is leaving. You still got three running backs. The rookie is a beast. Number 22, who scored twice in that championship game, true freshman. So you got your three running backs. That's what we run with three running backs. Wide receiver wise, we got two out of transfer portal, and they bring in three, and one of the three that's already making noise. I want to say his last name is West. I had to check his last name again, but he was making noise prior to the playoff game and the championship game. Offensively, we lost two people. Center and Broderick Jones, who should be a first rounder, but we were deep. Okay, rest in peace, Whitlock. We lost Whitlock. He was a starter in a lot of those games at center and at guard. We lost him, the tragedy we had with him. So actually, we were replacing three people on offensive line. But again, the offensive line was deep. Wide receiver, running back. So offensively, he got the pieces.
Yeah.
Can he sufficiently set these guys up to succeed? He was fired for a reason.
So you're not happy.
And hopefully he doesn't pull us, McCarthy, and act like, say everything to get in there, get back in the dough. I learned from my ways, and then you get in there, and then you just like, Negro, you didn't regress from even the last time we seen you. So we'll see. I mean, like you said, y'all definitely got the tools and the incoming people as well. Everybody, all those young kids, man, they want the exposure and they want the opportunity to be a part of 3 times in a row. So
yeah.
The players being up is not going to be what is really about. The question is going to be, can these coaches keep them motivated for this long college season that they're going to have to endure?
Let me give you a perfect example of Todd Monken. When Todd Monken took over his first year, we probably had one of the hardest schedules in the nation. And we were 79th in big plays. Big plays meaning any plays over 20 yards. His first year with their schedule, we moved from 79th to 30th. His last year, when he left, we led the league at 98 plays over 20 yards per play for big plays. So
you're hoping he forgot his playbook when he left to go to Baltimore.
So, I mean, he going to somewhere he not gonna be able to pick the groceries. You know what I'm saying? It ain't gonna be a 3-4 deep at quarterback. You're gonna have one quarterback, maybe two. One's gonna be the guaranteed starter. It's not like Georgia. You got 3 to pick from this year. You got a 2020, a 2021, and a 2022. I said it right. No, a 2021, 2022, and a 2023.
All right.
And quarterback wise, Carson Beck, who actually played this year, through 35 passes this year, we think he's going to be the starter. Ain't no guarantee, because the guy who came out in 2023, Gunnar Stockton, broke all of Deshaun Watson's records in the state of Georgia. So either way, when they name a starter, somebody's leaving. I got
transfer portal. So somebody's going to Colorado.
When they it could be. Could be.
They ain't gonna start over. They ain't gonna start over Shador. It don't matter.
But no, they got Shador out there. You know they're gonna put him on the bench.
Somebody's going.
They may need to. They're not going to.
Somebody's going to Colorado.
Leave.
Hey, I think that Prime would know. Hey, son.
No,
it's time for you to hit
that.
But I know that's off topic a little bit. But I think Shador gonna be just fine, honestly. But we'll see. That would be interesting to see one of them kids go over there.
Hey, if he can spin it, you get in the game, son. Let's go. Hey, speaking of offensive coordinators now, let's turn this attention to the Commanders really quick, okay? So, Lady A, I understand you booked a flight from Kansas City, Missouri to Washington, D.C., flew him in through Reagan, got him a hotel room. Can you tell me how that situation is going?
I accidentally canceled that flight, returning home.
Okay.
So, because he's going to be in the area.
Accidentally on purpose.
Yeah. So he's just going to go ahead and, continue those interviews tomorrow as well.
Okay. So the fact that they said the interview went well today and he's still in town. And we're going to get right into this in about 7 minutes with Candy, with Seawall from Seawall Sports. Is that a good sign? I mean, have you guys, is this like pretty much the second interview basically where we're really talking salary? Or do you think that had he left and went out to, let's say, Arizona or who else? There are a couple of other teams that still need an OC, that this is a good sign that he could be, the Eagles need an OC. And he just ran circles around their whole defense. So I'm pretty sure that's the last thing they want to see walking through the building.
Hey.
Well, it don't matter if he wanted to go to Philly or not. He don't run the ball, him or Andy Reid. So what is going to Philly going to do for him?
Well, and they ran the ball to win the game. Like, they came out in the second quarter and their first 3 plays were straight runs. And Pikachu had a huge game.
They definitely run the ball more than they normally do. And Andy Reid gave all that credit to Eric. So that's something to think about.
You know what? I'm glad you brought that game up because I got a bone to pick with you two right here.
Who two?
So I had to go back and review the play just to I paused it, slow-moed it, just so I could say, you know what? Maybe you just didn't see it was someone else over there. And no, I was right. He was out. Sky Moore. This is the play after Kadarius Toney ran the ball back.
Yeah.
Right.
Did you upload it for us to review?
No, he sure didn't.
I did not.
Don't worry, I'm gonna watch the all 22.
Well, it's your word against ours.
No, trust me, it's there. On the play, he hikes the ball, looks to the right. Sky Moore is already in motion to the left. Everybody else moves to the right. The guy guarding Sky Moore backs into the end zone. You two, it's 2 people over there. No,
I never said
one person over there.
Oh, buddy, hold on.
Hey, you talking about He talking about the play. He talking about the incomplete pass.
He talking about y'all.
No. But Pick, he is changing this whole thing up. He trying to.
He is.
I never said it was
y'all said that.
No, you said it was 2 people.
No, I said it was one person. I said he should throw him the ball. It was wide open.
People. You said it was a person that went to the back end zone.
It was a person that went to the back of the end zone.
That's what you said.
It was Sky Moore was in the flat, and there was
in the flat,
and there was a guy in the end zone.
That was his man. That was it.
He drifted back.
He had to be one man to score a touchdown.
No,
I'm so disappointed in because his argument was it was 2 people. He said it was one that went to the end zone and one in the flat. I never saw a person. I saw the one person that Patrick Mahomes actually threw the ball to, but he was already there. The guy Skylar Moore was always
to the other side of the field.
Hey, what did he have?
Your argument
he was searching for someone to throw the ball to.
But your argument was that he was open the whole time.
Yeah, your argument was that Sky Moore was open.
What did he have in his cup?
What did say have in his cup?
It don't drink.
It said have Dr. Pepper.
Did you accidentally flipped something and said cut.
Was no
listen,
margaritas
That's
being
what
made
you
that
gotta
day.
say, Sid. Your
Look.
argument was that he was open the whole time.
No, my
He
argument
wasn't open
was
the
I
whole
was like,
time.
he's open. Y'all were like, no, it's two people over there. I was like, no, it's not. It was one person. Remember, I tried to rewind it.
John.
Look at John.
I
John
haven't
automatically come in and say AntMoe wrong. Now, what y'all arguing about?
Right.
AntMoe wrong.
But I
AntMoe
digress.
wrong.
Let me tell you something.
Hey, don't worry
Me
about
and-
it. I could
Me
have
and
put
John
it
have
so
a
y'all can
love-hate
see.
relationship, but
And I'm gonna have arrows on and everything. See?
Look, said so. Basically, what you
Sid,
said is
that
they
ain't gonna
flooded,
change the fact that we
John
know what your argument was.
they
Thank you,
flooded
Lady
the
A.
left side.
Thank
They
you,
flooded the
Lady A.
left side of the
Said, I
field.
heard you. You said they wrong. Them two.
Hey,
I see y'all.
what's up, man? Oh, so they flooded the left side of the field. Basically, is what happened. They hit him with a receiver in the end zone. The Sky Moore was coming out of the backfield, and what I'm thinking that Sid is talking about is Sky Moore's man drifted back to
Yes.
the
End zone.
end
Because
zone.
he saw that the ball was going to the
Yeah.
to the back of the end zone. That's
But-
the only reason why Skylar Moore came open, so to speak.
Right, but
He
the
wasn't
ball was out of
open
his
though.
hand
That
by
was
then.
the point
No,
that
no,
Sid
no,
was
no,
trying
no.
to
The ball was
make.
not out of his hands by then.
Yeah, it was, Sid.
I'm telling you,
The
I
man,
slowed it down and replayed it more than once. The fact that he
Hey,
started looking to
roll,
the right,
just like Hawk said, roll
everybody
the
moved
tape.
to the right.
Sid ain't normally wrong about certain
know what?
points, but he wrong about
He's
this.
wrong. He's
I think
wrong.
His
y'all-
argument was that
I
Skylar
think
Moore
y'all
was open
flipped
the
I'm about to
entire
pull
time.
my phone
said
and I'm gonna tab
drink.
it so we can all see.
Yeah, you're gonna have to do that, Sid. You're
Y'all
gonna have to do that.
flipped something and said drink.
Yeah, Sid probably needed. I know what it was.
Why?
It was the
y'all.
wings. It was the wings with the. It was the wings with the mumbo sauce. Cause Sid was over there like.
What
Oh,
you
so
you
what
did
you
the
put in
handy
mumbo
mumbo
sauce?
sauce?
I
You
I hit him with the original
You
DC
did the
mumbo
handy
sauce.
mumbo
And
sauce.
you know
I'm
it gets
sorry.
sticky. You know it gets sticky. Sid was over
Oh,
there.
This is
yeah.
my one.
Yeah.
Can I give you my one critique of mumbo sauce?
Whoa,
What's wrong
it's a
with
lot of DC people watching right now. So
That's
Yeah, but
fine.
what's wrong with
Listen, y'all can't. Everybody can't always agree or like everything. Y'all know that,
Okay,
right?
but what's wrong with it?
This is my only critique, and it's not something that's wrong with it per se. I think it's a preference. I tasted a lot more pineapple juice than what I care for.
It's like it's a sweet drink.
First off,
I'm not
did
a
you look
big
up the
pine-
recipe of mumbo sauce?
Huh?
Is that what you did? You looked up the recipe because
No, I
like
can
your
taste
palate,
it.
your palate is not that sensitive where you can taste the
Are you
pineapple.
sure? Are you sure? I
You got a
absolutely
sensitive
can taste
palate
the
now?
pineapple.
Yeah, you do drink wine, so yeah, that could be true.
Um,
Hey, look,
bro,
Sid, this is the
yeah,
mailman
man.
right here. This is the mailman that I met today. My man, he's from DC. Tapped in. He joined in with us. He subscribed to First Thing Podcast today.
Just a little bit.
Yeah. Oh, you still rewind. Sid's gonna prove his point. Thanks for the invite. Sure,
but
man.
Bruce, we just talked about it. I mean, Eric is the front runner.
Bruce, we got Candy coming on here in a minute. So Seawall's gonna join us in about 2 minutes or so. She's finishing up her show right now, and then she's gonna jump in with us.
My question is,
We see you, Hawk.
my question is, with there being an impending switch in ownership, we always talked about them going internally because everybody on the staff is a dead man walking, essentially.
No.
Hold on. Dang it. Can I finish, Pete?
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Thank you, sir. How does it change based off of who the person is? Like, for instance, if Byron Leftwich was in there or a guy of Eric Bieniemy's stature, does that change the fact of who they would actually keep and who they would get rid of at the end of the acquisition of the team?
I think it depends on the person, individual people. So yes, everyone is a dead man walking, but if you are amazing at what you do, what would be the reason for them to get rid of you? That's number one. And then number two, it's to my understanding that if Eric comes over here and has a contract, his money is what?
Guaranteed.
Okay, so
coaches' contracts are guaranteed.
It would be in their best interest to keep him because he's not somebody you would just be like, oh, he's trash. Won the Super Bowl. So
here's my thing about it.
What else?
if Eric, I was thinking this, but I never said it. I never spoke these words out loud. Okay. Last year, we did not have anybody that we thought would be qualified to carry the interim tag and run a team besides Jack Del Rio, right? Because Jack has been a head coach before, but throughout the rest of that staff, there was no other person. So if the new ownership takes place and let's say they get off to a slow start the way they have the last couple of years, what's to say they don't carry Ron and you give Eric, who should have been a head coach already? Can we agree on that? That Eric should have been a head coach somewhere already. We give him that head coach.
If he was calling the plays, yeah.
Come on, man. Like
is extra petty.
You have your head coach in the building, and you give him. You don't even put an interim. You don't even put an interim on him. You just make him the head coach, and then the following year you blow that whole staff out of there, and you bring your staff in and do what you need to do.
But didn't you just accuse somebody else of throwing the bath water out with the baby?
Hey, sometimes that baby got to go. Sometimes the baby got to go.
No, I was the one who said do it.
But he's the one like, no, you got, but you doing it.
Exactly. Hey. That's what he does. I don't know if y'all pay attention, y'all.
First off,
you double talking yourself all the time. It's all if it fits his narrative or not.
Wait, first off, I stick to the script.
No, you don't.
Mm-hmm, sure.
No,
are you calling me a flip flopper?
I'm saying a double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. That's
look at that face.
Hey, first off,
what?
That's what the words say.
Listen,
that's funny.
In the words of the late
he about to mess
Pops.
him up.
Oh,
Pops.
Bang, bang, bang.
Okay.
No, from Vampire in Brooklyn.
Same person. Same.
Flip flop tree.
It's the same one.
He said, and then it turned into a man. That is one of my favorite movies. I'm telling you. Have you ever seen a wolf to the 25th power walk?
Seawall's on the way. She just texted me.
Man,
I got you, Go Cap. Seawall is on the way. And with Seawall, we will be talking Commanders, Wizards, Nats, maybe a little hockey. So y'all know when I do the lineup, she's like, do you want me to talk this or talk that? Of course I do. Why would I not? Why would I limit you from doing what you do? This is about to be the serious Seawall show. All right. So is there any other, Lady A, is there any other candidate, if we don't get Eric, that you would like to see that we may have interviewed or that we may not have interviewed for the OC position?
Well, I told you that a while ago, and that's it right there. I felt like Byron would have been a great addition. I don't know what's going on with that. Like Tampa Bay got rid of him, and I felt like that would have been a good fit. So that's literally my number one. Outside of Eric, that's who you need to talk to. I feel like it would be a good fit. It would also kind of, let's be real, this organization has their issues with fans right now, right? That would be a large favorite for fans because he's a hometown guy. Which is why Hawk is like, why not bring him here? I've heard that so many times. But he's qualified. Why not bring him here? So there you go.
Okay. All right. Go Cap says.
And speaking of OC jobs, Seattle's not looking for an OC.
They just fired their OC?
Yeah.
This is
he got a job. He left Seattle and got the OC job in Tampa.
Okay.
So you mean to tell me?
So he left one OC job and went to another one.
So you mean to tell me Tampa got rid of Byron to do what?
To go get the OC from.
It says Tampa Bay has hired the Seattle Seahawks quarterback coach Dave Canales as the new.
He was a quarterback coach. He was a quarterback coach. So he's
the OC in Tampa Bay.
All right. Question for all of y'all. Do y'all think that Byron needs to go to college?
No.
He's fine in the NFL.
Got a raw deal. He became the scapegoat for Tom Brady sucking. Like
Thank you.
That's a surprise. He's 49 years old. Like
He's
in
55.
Years. Like knock it off.
Tom is 103.
Oh wait, I'm sorry. He's under a spell.
That's what I'm saying, and he ain't under a spell. That's his problem. His wife was like,
"Oh, let him go.
About to do good this year."
No, she cut him loose. Seawall will be with us in about half a minute.
Football abilities is killing me, man. Giselle, like, oh yeah, that's how you want to play it?
Yep, that's exactly how she is.
You're gonna suck this year.
She went to a dark room. Hey, no. And she didn't do that in public. She went into a dark room.
I don't mess with that. I do not mess with that.
Oh, Bruce Glass.
She also wears drawers in the backyard.
Oh, whoa.
She got a little doll that Tom, and she done did some stuff. I'm trying to tell you.
Aunt, are you for real?
You know they said, hey, clearly she didn't, because they say you don't never leave when you do that. That's what the Creole women do.
At the end of the first quarter, the Wizards are down to Minnesota right now, 21-36. Maryland, as Bruce just stated, knocked off number 3 Purdue. So, we
in basketball.
Anything AntMoe just said.
Do it again. Say it. Do it again. Hit him with it again. Hit him with it again.
The First String Podcast does not endorse anything that AntMoe just said.
All right, now listen up.
On me.
Here we go. It is time to bring in the. Hey, wait a minute. It's time to bring in the one and only coach from the couch, Seawall. How are you, ma'am?
Hi, everybody.
Hello.
How you doing, Seawall?
Hey, listen, we got to get up. Say it. Where does sexy voice come from?
Ooh.
You heard? He said,
I heard it.
Wait, no,
How you doing,
say
Seawall?
Good
to meet you, Seawall.
That is ridiculous. That is right.
Don't do it. Hey,
that boy turned to Barry White.
Seawall, we gotta ask a request of you. This is just us, okay? Just us talking to you, okay? When we sign off the show, stay.
Okay.
Just give us a couple of minutes. I think you'll enjoy what you're gonna see. All right.
Okay.
All right. Okay. Now today's been a very busy day, and we have you here because you cover the Commanders, the Wizards, the Nats, everything in the DMV, including high school. And we seem to always get lucky when we have you or somebody from your squad on. Like, things break right for us. So what is going on today is Eric Bieniemy's in town. We heard Lady A made his flight arrangements and she canceled his away trip. So can you break that down for us, please?
I mean, he's here. He's still here. Back out at dinner, or maybe it's over by now with Coach Rivera. And he's going back out to the facility tomorrow. So he's not gone yet.
Are we like, I don't think there were any reports of anyone staying around this long as Eric has. So at this point, would they be talking contract? Would they be talking schemes and stuff like that on this second day of interviews?
I think it's a little bit of everything, including from a contract perspective. I mean, what is it going to take for him to leave Kansas City? I mean, they just won a Super Bowl. I mean, as well as probably just, Ron Rivera is a very hands-off coach. He's not Andy Reid, right? Andy Reid is still a very much so an offensive genius. Coach Rivera, and he's very hands-on. Coach Rivera is hands-off, more of a defensive-minded coach if he needed to step in, but that's not his bag. He's going to lead and guide as necessary, only if there is an issue, but the coordinators have complete autonomy. So I think there's a lot of conversation around probably the sense of urgency. If the, based on timing, I mean, I don't think the new owners would fire Ron and staff, but they might, right? They seriously might. I mean, I think Sean Payton, I keep laughing every time I talk about this. He really dropped a doozy last week. With him sharing that, more than one of the potential ownership groups reached out to him to ask him to wait until the sale was complete.
Oh, wow.
So that he could come and coach the Commanders. So,
With my question really is,
wow,
if EB signs, right, if Eric Bieniemy signs with us, would the new owners look like, hey, this is a guy that should have been a head coach a couple of years ago, right? You have Jack Del Rio on the staff as well. And if they don't feel like Ron Rivera is their guy, then maybe they say, hell, you know what? I saw what Jack Del Rio did. No one's giving you a chance. Let's give you a shot at this head coaching thing. Let's get your staff in here and see what we can do. Is there still a chance of that?
Yeah, I mean, Eric Bieniemy on your staff is a lot more is attractive. Point blank period. It's a sale. I had Eric Bieniemy. The only challenge there, you all though, and I'm an advocate for Eric Bieniemy, but I'm also very objective in that. Again, Coach Ron Rivera is very hands off. Eric will have to do the whole play calling thing himself. And he didn't have to do that in Kansas City.
Well,
so
I know one thing for sure, we ain't got to worry about him being in the booth and not having a feel for the game.
Right. Now, another thing that, and this is just, again, being objective, you have to balance some of the commentary and conversation around the relationship that he has with the players. Right. So where things, it's a couple different things. Everybody knows that it is kind of a by committee, if you will, offensive scheme in Kansas City.
Right.
Eric Bieniemy does not call all of the offensive plays. In Washington, he would call all of the offensive plays. So that is a distinct, very, very important difference, everybody. Very important, right? That I think should be noted because it's a fact. It's true.
But isn't that the most ideal thing? Because it's that sink or swim, sink or drown, or whatever, however you call it. I mean, he needs the opportunity to be autonomous over everything at this point,
right?
To get a real shot at coaching, being a head coach. So
I think that this would be, to your point, an opportunity to prove himself.
Yeah.
Right.
The challenge is, does everybody want to wait for somebody to prove themselves?
Right.
Well, actually, if you sit and think about it,
you know what I'm saying? What I'm trying to tell y'all, like, Ron doesn't have, this is it. This is your year.
Yeah.
Or bye. And it's only because of the timing of the sale, which honestly may not matter.
Right.
Sean said that, and I was like, "Come on, man! We were in Phoenix. He was at Sirius XM, and we had just walked by, and I'm like, yo, my phone started blowing up. I said, did he just tell that just now? I was like, ooh, and so that's the part that everybody is glossing over.
Honestly, I suspected it, and I've been saying it. I've been preaching it for a while. But I was shocked that he said it out his mouth.
I mean, with no issues. And he didn't say one. He said some of the potential ownership groups reached out to me to ask me to wait.
Do it. So basically, tell them do another year on TV and we coming to get you.
No. Wait
even
to make his
another year.
decision now. Like when he decided, they didn't want him to sign with
Take to
anybody.
Denver.
They're like, wait until the sale,
Right.
and we coming to get you.
Yeah, because they're ready to go. I mean, I've been preaching that for a long time and saying that some of these owners are talking to people there so that when they, when they purchase the team, they're going to be ready to go.
Hey, so I mean, to talk about Airbnb again, right quick. If we watch the Super Bowl, the second half of that game, in a proven game to win it, those were his concepts and plays that he created and helped to call, because Andy Reid said himself, it was all Airbnb in the second half.
Yeah.
Which shows that he can create the plays, he can find the holes in the defense and call it to do what they need to do. Because let's face it, in the second half, they ran that same play that both sides of the field, and the Eagles didn't
Still
adjust.
couldn't stop it.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, my thing is, hang up is probably what a lot of offenses are going to hang up is the new ownership.
Mm-hmm.
Why join a team? New ownership come in. Well, I don't like the head coach. No way. Then they fire the head coach and bring in someone else, and then the head coach cleans house.
Yeah.
So
to me, got a guaranteed contract.
A lot of people aren't really investing in trying to go to Washington at this point.
Yeah.
But the other part too is this: is if you believe if you believe that this roster is not void of talent, the 3 wide receivers, the tight end group, if you got Logan coming back off an injury in this second year from his knee, and you got a bunch of young tight ends also there. Only thing you got to do is fix that offensive line, and this offense can go, which is one of the things you have to be believing. Like when you're getting interviewed for a position of offensive coordinator, one of your questions has to be, how are we going to fix this offensive line?
Mm-hmm.
Or can you go get me a free agent center? We can draft a guard, the best guard with the 16th pick, and maybe another free agent guard, and I can be off and running.
You making that sound like it's just going to the store and picking berries or something. That's also coming off the reality of y'all have new picks that you not but a couple years ago that you drafted that haven't panned out. So you're hoping that a new staff comes in here and does a better job at evaluating that talent than the previous.
But our head coach didn't even want to play the rookie at quarterback, and he forgot about the guard that he drafted, and he didn't want to play him when you had trouble at guard because the old farts that you brought in kept getting hurt.
Yeah, early onset,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
I mean, the reality is, the offense is attractive. It is an opportunity. If somebody wanted to come in and needed to hit the ground running, because everybody already understands. I mean, here's another thing. Gone are the days of development. Can we just say, everybody wants somebody to come in, you got to give them 2-3 years, you got to sit on the bench. Nobody's doing that anymore. And I'm going to tell you who blew that up. Actually, is the person we just saw win the Super Bowl. It was Patrick Mahomes. He did sit on the bench for a year. Yes, he did. But because he won that Super Bowl on a rookie contract, and then got his money, and then you saw Joe Burrow get to the Super Bowl, right? And then you've seen him get to another conference championship game. Nobody's got time for that.
Russell Wilson before them.
I was going to say, was it him or was it Russell Wilson?
Russell Wilson.
Well, yeah, true. But even now, that's dead. Yeah, you got to be able to come in and perform, period. Like, that is it. Ron, the biggest just golf that happened with the Commanders this year is not making the playoffs when they were in.
Mm-hmm.
Let me ask you that. Is that right there a fireable offense for any new owner? Because
Absolutely.
Had our owner not been absent and not been in the financial perils that he's in with all the investigations and things like that, I think that Monday he's gone. Probably that Monday he's gone.
It's for sure a fireable offense. And I like Ron. Ron and I are very cool, y'all. But I'm objective, It is.
I thought it was as well. I
Yeah.
thought it was. I
Yeah.
mean, he's out of his 9 lives.
Mhm.
So if Eric doesn't sign, who is your next choice for OC for this team?
It would have been the person who said he wanted to be a head coach, who said he wanted to be a head coach, but actually went to the Carolina Panthers, and that's Jim Caldwell. And I have to credit Darrell Owens actually and David Aldridge for really talking to me about it. Especially David and I, we were covering the Wizards game, and we sitting up here talking about offensive coordinator stuff with the Commanders, and he was like Jim Caldwell would have been perfect. And we really talked about the why. And he helped me to be like, you know what, you're right. You know, I would have liked to have seen from Sean McVay's staff. There's so many players.
Quarterback coach or OC?
For OC.
No. Which
Oh, is it
position?
was there their quarterback coach? I can't think of his name. I know it's not D'Amico Ryan, and I don't know why I keep seeing D'Amico Ryan's face every time I talk about this other guy.
That's
But
what I was about to yell, D'Amico Ryan. So
yeah. I just can't.
Yeah.
I love D'Amico Ryan, but I would have preferred someone that, we're in the age of instant gratification, right? On social media, everybody cares about likes, loves, how many likes you get, how many followers you got. Ooh, it went viral, got these. So everybody's like that. Folks who are younger than me, not to date myself, but who are younger than me, they get that. See, I'm still in the you work hard, then you play hard later. Everybody's like, no, I'm working hard today because I want to play hard tomorrow. And so I'm going to do whatever I need to do to study and understand these defenses so that we can beat them, because I don't want to wait to win no Super Bowl. I want a Super Bowl in February. Mm-hmm. That crap looks cool and I want to do it. Mm-hmm. That's just how everybody is right now in the age of social media and just the age of life. That's why I say development out the door. You need people, you draft them, they got to be able to roll. I bring you on my staff. Don't miss me with the 3 years. Miss me with that. I'm giving you 3 months to act like
wow.
I'm putting you on a 90-day probationary period, and you better show up and end up making the playoffs at the end of this 90 days. I ain't got time to play like that.
Well, we know how we're going here. So since we're still on probation with you, since we're still on probation with you, let's talk about this.
Oh, so, that's funny.
you were out in Arizona, and I did see one thing off of social media. You met a very tall guy that missed a field goal, Rob Gronkowski. So, oh my God, like.
For a minute, I was like, well, did he miss it? Because
I thought he made it.
That's the same thing Pick said, yeah.
I was like, he made that.
Yeah.
I could have someone told me he made it. That's why I was like, he did. He don't need $10 million. And I just like kept on going, and everybody's like, he missed it. And I was like,
did he really?
Oh, they got with him.
So besides hanging out with Rob, you said Peyton, and I know you guys are out there to work and things like that. So Ron won the salute to service, and he gave you some time. Mm-hmm. Just go through that for us real fast.
It's interesting, you guys. So Ron Rivera, and like I said, I've done, gone to community events. He and his wife, Mrs. Rivera, they do a lot in the community. Coach Rivera had just won the salute to service. It was announced. His father is the one who told him. It was a very emotional moment for Coach, and so he was over there. He was interviewed. Then he had to go on his press tour, so he was over there with Peter King, and I was just over there. Like I was just like, all right, Coach here. I'm gonna just, I guess, follow him around or do whatever. And I was like, you know what? I want to talk to Coach about this, and here's why, you all. It's just different when you're in TV, you're in branding. I understand media. I get it, right? The controversy sells, and I just said, hey, this is a big deal. And let's be clear, everybody. Like, I know even I give myself wrong. I even give Ron Rivera a hard time at times, but winning an NFL honor Has any coach while he was in tenure here won an NFL honor? I don't
No,
know.
no.
This is why when I say on my show, when I come on here and talk to you all about the Commanders, that kind of stuff is important. The reputation he has. And then we couldn't even get started on the interview, even though I was being quick, because so many of his former players were coming by. Coach, they were stopping him, they were hugging, they were taking selfies.
Yeah.
I mean, they were so happy to see him. And he was happy too. He was ecstatic, right? And I mean, Darrell caught, Coach and I sharing a joke because I was making a comment about, I was like, dang, Coach, like, are you ready? You out here talking to everybody? Like, like, are you ready to go? Like, let's go. And he laughed because he was so happy. We don't get the good news stories like
No.
in Commander's Town. We just don't. It's always some controversy with everybody. So that's why I'm like, there's no beef in the locker room. There's no beef with the coach. The coach out here at the NFL honors, we're going to salute the service. Let's have this moment. Because we know very shortly after that, all hell will soon break loose about something else.
Yeah, and it did. And it did because the next thing that he did was call out Chase Young when you just wanted to salute the service. You first off, I had a problem with it. For 2 years in a row, you're hanging out at the Super Bowl and you don't have your team with you. The object is to be at the Super Bowl with your entire team getting ready to win the thing, right? Mm-hmm. So why call out Chase Young at a time when you can't even get him working or anything like that? Like, it's time for hands off. Whoa. And why not have a private conversation with him, then put it out there on national media that, hey, we're going to challenge him. This is what we did with Deron Payne. We're going to do it with Chase Young. Just, hey, we'll address that later. Why not that?
I'm an advocate for you don't necessarily have to answer the questions that you've been asked. One of the things that I admire about Ron that also is, a catch-22 is that he keeps it a little too real. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying you got to lie, but what I am saying is you don't have to answer the question. And I knew those questions were coming. That's why I said the angle for Bowie TV, for Seawall, for Legacy, the angle is going to be, we are focusing on salute to service.
Yeah.
Because that is important. And we got enough negative things that we can talk about. And if you all noticed, we were the only media group that did.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right? The only ones. And I'm okay with that.
And I was trying to get you on here while you was out there, but you were very busy.
Yeah, I didn't know. Half the time, I didn't know where I was even at. I'll be honest with you. I was like, I don't know what day it is. I don't know what time it is. It was a lot.
It was a blur.
It's a blur. It's all day. It's fun, but it's exhausting. A lot of days it's very exhausting. And so, and hey there, I think I saw somebody else say hello. Hey, everybody watching First String Podcast.
Well, my question is, why do we have to handle these guys with kid gloves? I feel like, it's necessary. I mean, and how do we not know that he didn't have a conversation with him about what their approach was going to be to the 5th year of the contract? I mean, these are grown men who get paid a lot of money to produce, and he's been hurt. And, to a certain degree, that's not his fault, but it's like they got to produce at the end of the day. So whether they talk about it or they don't, now I personally think you should go ahead and take the 5th year option just in case. But
absolutely,
at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? Like, he's still going to have to go out there and do something spectacular. And if he performs to their capability, they still would, and correct me if I'm wrong, they would have the money to be able to take care of that because they don't have anybody else with crippling cap money. So it's going to cost you, you know what I'm saying? And if he doesn't perform, then you lose a guy who had the talent but maybe didn't have the coaching. So it's kind of a double-edged sword in a sense.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Especially your comment about the, why we got to handle them with kid gloves. Chase was out there, and as were a few players, right? I mean, once they're out there doing different, promotion things and off season, their own branding, and I just hated it because this should be a fun week, like. Right. try not to talk about this if you can, right?
Yeah.
Unless a trade happens or something wild happens, you just try to stay away from those things. But I'm just going to tell you all from my perspective, whenever I would post, okay, Chase Young is still going to be out this week, toward the end of the season when it was like, is Chase going to play? Is Chase going to play this week? Is he going to play this week? Is he going to play this week? Every time I would post something, more often than not, I would see a comment that would be like, oh, he ain't playing because he was at the casino last night. Or he not playing because I saw him, da-da-da-da-da. And I'm like, oh, and of course I'm just sharing, and being transparent and objective, like, so that's tough.
Here's what John is saying. John says, I'm push back on that pick. How you know they didn't already have a private conversation? Ron tried to sit down with Chase not listening. Here's my pushback on your pushback. In their room, the defensive line room, and Seawall, we have you here, the defensive line room, they had a problem with Sam Mills Jr., right? Chase was hurt when Sam Mills Jr. got fired, right? Coming back off his injury, working his way back up. He has not, to my knowledge, until later in the season, had the opportunity to work with Ryan Kerrigan and Coach Z. Give him a full year with those two coaches, and let's see what he does. I mean, is that not a good answer that you could have gave? We're going to give Chase another year to work with Coach Z and Coach Kerrigan, and we're going to see how this all works out.
I think he told. I don't think that's what it is because he has been working with them. I mean, Chase was not practicing.
Right.
So he has been working with them. So that's not. Coach Rivera gave the answer that he wanted to give. And whether that was, his approach to throw a dart or get somebody like, hey,
Lady A is out of power. She
I mean, I'm not an advocate for that approach, but just because I just believe that some things that happen in the house should stay in the house. But it is difficult even when you're trying to, just do. Chase isn't playing. Oh yeah, we know he's not playing because he was over at the casino. Nobody wants to hear that.
Players got lives as well.
Right.
But players have lives as well.
If you're supposed to be hurt and trying to work your way back, the last place people need to see you is at the casino.
I get it. I get it. I'm 100%. I get it. I understand.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Let's just be for real.
That was an actual thing?
Yes. And so if it's a whole bunch of, well, is he okay? Is he all right? And yes, when you hurt, that doesn't mean you can't walk. You can walk and you can be, wherever. But if someone's like, well, he ain't gonna play because he was at the casino, or I saw him over here last night or over there. That stuff has an impact, and everyone should know how Coach Rivera is about distractions.
Yeah, facts. Yeah, see some of his ex players, like ones that just want to schedule meetings with Coach Quentin Dunbar, and he's like, "Get out of my office."
I think that's tough though, man, because it's like it's just the world we live in. Nobody knows his approach to recovery or what he was actually doing. Laser tag, okay, you need to get fined and suspended because that's just uncalled for. Slot machines, I don't know. It's just because I do agree with Pick on that. It's like,
players got a life.
Did he not take his girl to the movies because he ain't playing? Like, we kind of get on a slippery slope at a certain point, and some of it ends up being just what the optics are for people who don't have to go out there and do what they do. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's just kind of tough, and I've been critical of my people for similar things, but it would be something more like, I remember one of the guys, the safety, I can't remember his name for us, got a freaking DUI on a bye week. Something like that is just unheard of. He should be kicked off the team immediately. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, just being out living a normal life is kind of tough for me too.
Well, I can see both sides, but I can see what Seawall is saying. If it was a day before the game, let's not be out doing X, Y, Z.
I mean, it's the night before the game.
See, that's what I'm saying.
Okay, that's
That's different. That's different. Yeah.
Okay, see that. So okay, now that's more context. Okay,
You know,
But
it's
it was
Saturday
that
night
purpose
before the
in your
game,
head.
and everybody anticipating, can you play? You gonna be all right? What we doing here?
Right.
yeah.
See, I can see in that aspect. I can see that aspect. Now, if
That
it's
makes
earlier in the week, hey, that's his business.
I
Oh,
agree.
right.
And
Yeah.
in that regard, I agree. That's unacceptable.
Yeah, they go to games on Monday night. You know, they
Yeah.
off on Tuesday. That sort of deal. But the Saturday night, when everybody's waiting to hear if you're gonna be active the next day or if you're gonna finally
Right.
make your start, that can be labeled a distraction. Unfortunately.
Yeah.
So
I can see that.
I just keep saying, well, let's move off of Chase. Let's move on to the Washington Wizards. Okay. Well, the Washington Wizards right now is halftime. It's halftime, and they are down 51-59 to the Minnesota Timberwolves right now. But some of the good things here about the Wizards is we have Porzingis, we have Kyle Kuzma, and Bradley Beal all playing now. There's a rumor going around that Westbrook could possibly be looking at a buyout and rejoining the team. I know that the Wizards do have an open spot. If they don't bring in Westbrook, who are we looking at adding to that team so that they can continue to make a run and have some depth?
I mean, if John Wall probably wouldn't have told everything on that podcast, it would more than likely be him.
What did he say bad about them though? Was it just the fact that he didn't like?
And it might still be. I mean, I'm just telling the truth. I mean, and it could still be, right?
Yeah, because they got that open spot.
I would love to see him go back.
It can still be. He loves DC, y'all. It's just in him. He just loves it. He loves
10 years,
it. You know,
he's like, I grew up, man. Yeah, that was a good podcast, by the way, too.
Yeah, I mean, he loves it, literally. And you know, you hear all the time the players can't hate it here.
Not John.
He loves it here. And he just always talks about how he feels like he has a connection to his mom here. Because I mean, this is a team that drafted him. He looks over, you know, when he was here, he looked over at her seat. It was very hard for him not to have a breakdown. Like it's an emotional tie. You know, he did not want to be traded. You know, he was blindsided by the trade, but despite all of that, he would welcome the opportunity to come back. Now, when he had made all those comments on the podcast, he told from his perspective how the trade went down.
And that's his perspective, and nobody can say that he's wrong because that's how he takes it.
That's how it went.
You know, and that's tough because it's a business. It's a business, and it's almost like they get, and I know it's because they sit high and look low, but it's like they get to move how they move, but players don't get to openly express their thoughts and opinions without it being a backlash. I feel like that's an even trade-off to this generation. That's what they do. You look at a guy like Draymond Green, you know, or McCullough, or some of these guys that have platforms, and they're giving you a different side. I don't have a problem with it. I mean, true enough, I'm not making their money and I'm not an owner, but it's like, I mean, it just kind of helps us get an understanding, because a lot of the times you look at these guys and we think that they don't care or that it's just about the money. Right. You know, he was young, he was foolish, he was going through things, like he said, throwing up gang signs, all that. Okay, I get it. But it's like what he contributed to that franchise and to that community. It's like they don't give a crap about it. You know what I'm saying? So I think he was more so speaking from a place of hurt, you know, and appreciation. So it's, you know, it's just tough, man. I wish that they wouldn't have handled it that way, you know, but it seems like they already had plans anyway.
Now we can all, I would hope that we can all agree that he's still not been replaced.
Nope.
Yep. Because Bill by himself.
And what did you really put a Band-Aid on? Perception?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So you bring in Russell Westbrook, who is amazing. I think all these guys are amazing. But again, being objective, okay, so what was it that you didn't like about John? Okay, John's not married. There's all the stuff about John being in the club, you know, doing what he does, having fun. Like you said, the gang signs, all right. People, all right. Russell Westbrook is a family man. He's married. He's not in the club. They're like, oh, we just need to find. We can find somebody else who does things for the community, but we need somebody that has the perception and the view of just a family man and after the game, he goes straight home and with his wife and his kids, and that wasn't John's story. And
Yeah.
so you
Yeah.
made a gamble, which was cool, which was fine. Hey, I had a great year covering Russell Westbrook. And he broke that triple double. He's a triple double king. That was all awesome. He was very, very kind and nice. I don't know why they talk so bad about him out in LA. And I have no idea. We did not experience that here in the DMV covering Russell Westbrook. We don't see the person that they try to make out to be really bad. So I don't know what that's about.
Yep.
But it was, you still haven't replaced John. You still
Nope.
have not. So what was it worth anyway in the end?
Yeah.
Well, let's speak about the team. So Rui is out in LA now, and yeah, I'm sorry, Lady A. But it has seemed to free up a little bit more playing time for some other folks that they had a log jam on, and now we actually have, like I said, our big three for Singers, who had 8 3-pointers just a little while ago. We got Bill back on the court, and we got Kuzma back. It seems like they're in a dogfight with the Timberwolves right now, which I can't wait to actually start watching here in a minute once we finish the pod. What are you expecting from these guys down the road if we can keep Porzingis healthy and Bill stays healthy? Do you think that they can make a push to actually get out of that spot that they're in right now? I think they're sitting at number 10, something like that. They can move up and lock in a playoff spot without being in that play-in position.
Absolutely. I mean, there's no guarantee that Kuzma is going to stay, right? More than likely he's going to walk. And so I think that this is probably the most help, I want to say, that Bill has had since John has left, right? Or was traded, and then, Westbrook then, traded. This is probably the best, help, consistent, again, barring any injury that he has had. He meaning Bradley Beal, barring any injury, they have to make the playoffs as far as I'm concerned. You got that max deal last summer. Kuzma and KP have been balling.
Yeah.
KP is all the way vintage unicorn. This is the vintage. I wrote about that I wrote about an article about that. This is Kristaps Porzingis right here, right? And Kuzma, we're watching him grow. We're watching him grow while he's in the Wizards uniform. Brad got to make it do what it do now. Because here's the reality. They can win without Brad playing. They can win without Brad scoring a lot of points. I need to see Brad score a lot of points.
Brad needs Brad to score a lot of points.
He don't have to. But I would like for him to. Okay. I want you to put up Damian Lillard numbers. I want you to put up Steph Curry numbers every single time you on the court. Why? Because you got a max deal.
Yep.
And you haven't won a daggone thing to get it. Okay? Like, let's just be for real. You got your people. You got your supporting cast. Rock out.
Do what you're supposed to do. Yeah. Lady A's back with us. Yeah, and we're talking Wizards. Get in there, Lady A.
So first of all, I apologize, everyone. I don't know what's going on, but my whole neighborhood was just out for a second. So
probably HR probably hit them all with the.
You got HR'd by HR.
You got HR'd by HR.
But I mean, I really feel that I agree with you, Seawall. This is a lot of help for him. I did not go. Actually, I went to the last home game against the Pacers, and I felt like he had a little more energy this go around. I think he dropped like 32 points that game. I started to see a better situation, and they won that game, so kudos to them. And then they turned around on Valentine's Day and won. I said, oh, okay, look at that. Now, we didn't think they were going to win against the Warriors. We didn't think that, but they did well. Tonight, I'm crossing my fingers.
They fighting. They fighting.
But I will say, it's different when you look at the game in person, up close and in person, versus on TV. I saw them attempt to lose a lead that they should not have lost. A couple of times in that game, I was getting concerned because they were up and down, and I felt that this should not have been a game that they were up and down like that. Let's be real. The Pacers, they're no shades at them or anything like that. I mean, they're still NBA players, but that isn't a team that you would look at like that. I felt like the following game when they played the Warriors. Now we expected the Warriors to win, but look at how they played against the Warriors. They look so much better. They didn't lose by that much. Let's be real. It's not like the Warriors were like, oh yeah, we're gonna beat you by like 60 points or something crazy like that. But I'm starting to see a better team. So I'm crossing my fingers not just for tonight, but for the rest of the season. Brad was looking good. Porzingis was looking amazing. And he looked like a leader out there on the court. So that's just my take on it.
See, well, I got a question. Going back to what you said about vintage KP, one of the most disappointing things was that he wasn't vintage KP in Dallas. And I don't think it was an ability thing. I don't think it was a health thing. From what you see and how he's been able to do that alongside Bradley and alongside, the other cast, what do you see? Is it a style of play? Is it personality? What is it that is allowing him to execute the way he is now, that he essentially missed out on being who he could be with us?
I think it's personality. Not knowing all the personalities in Dallas with the Mavericks.
Luka, man.
But again, knock on wood, everybody, because you don't want nobody to start fighting by the time I get back over there. But these guys, again, these guys really like each other. I mean, and there's a situation where these guys genuinely like each other. I want to tell this story. You all may have seen me talk about it on IG or my Facebook. I'm not sure where I even put it. But the night, basically, that Rui got traded, he didn't get traded until Monday, right? The trade wasn't complete till Monday, right. But it was definitely a known thing that that was his last game as a Washington Wizard. The reason why I say that now out loud is because every single player was sad.
Yep.
It was obvious Rui wasn't coming back. And then it was a whole lot of we're not doing locker room, and Rui left the building, but Rui was around the corner. It was weird. It was a lot of other little background stuff going on, but nobody was happy. And that was the first time this season that I saw nobody happy. I mean, other than when they lose bad. Now, nobody's happy then, but it was a different kind of, they were sad. It's part of the business. Right, you get it, and it's a very good move for Rui. The Lakers he's closer to home, and the Lakers are the most popular team in Japan, so that works for him. But when I tell you, nobody wanted to talk to us, really, media, and never like that. The Wizards media family and the players, everything, we everybody is always talking and joking and laughing and smiling and whatever, and it wasn't that night. So many people they were dipping out. It was hard on them, I think, but because they're family. So back to KP, I think he is encouraged. Kuzma made a joke one night, but he was serious, because Kuz, one thing about him, he is very blunt and frank. And so I'm laughing because sometimes it's just like, I probably wouldn't have said that, but okay. Because it's just, again, it's a keeping it real goes wrong moment for me, but then nobody else catch it. All right. So he made a joke about, KP had a great game that game, and he was like, yeah, but I tell KP all the time, I be wanting him to be more aggressive. You're like 8 feet tall and you just chilling in the paint, and but it was a joke, and they all laughed and they went on about their day, because he's rocking. KP rocking.
And when Kuz is literally growing up in front of our face because
Yes.
Yeah.
he's taken.
Yes.
For me, what I see Kuz doing is Kuz like, okay, Brad is out. I'm gonna drop 45 to get this victory today.
Yeah.
Okay, KP's here. KP, I'm gonna defer to you and let you beat him up on the inside, and then I'll do what I need to do on the outside. Okay, Brad, you here? I can defer to you and play off of you and get everybody else involved. I like Kuzma's game. You say that Kuz is about to leave. The team should be stacking up to keep him because they should be able to offer him the most money. Am I
They
correct
want
in
to
that?
keep him now. Let me be clear. They want to keep him. I just don't know if he's, I don't know. I think Kuz is not a hard person to read, but he's a hard person to read. I mean, he's happy. They're not, but they want to win.
Right.
I think he needs to see and know that what they're building
It's
is
sustainable.
playoff material.
Right.
Not
Good.
play-in material. Playoff material.
Right.
That's what I was going to ask you. Is like if they make it now, when they make it to the playoffs, they win a series in advance to the second round. Let's say the second round of playoffs, right? Not a play-in game, but the second round of playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that would be enough for him to say, you know what? I think we got enough plus whatever we draft to run this back and get better. 1 through 16.
I think I'll tell you this. I know Brad want to keep him. You know what I mean? Like this is not a situation where it's like, oh, Kuz getting on the shine. I don't like that. I don't like, Brad is like, please come help me. Please.
Right.
And so this is a perfect situation for all of them, I think, because I feel like there's no egos. There's no egos. Everybody they want people to ball out. When Denny had those few good games right after Rui was traded and then, got his new nickname and all this stuff. And it was fun for them. They want him to show up like that. They want players to show up like that. When DeLon Wright who is amazing defensively, when he makes a stop in a critical moment, I think he did it in the Dallas game.
Yeah, he did.
In the Mavs game. And I mean, DeLon Wright, for some reason, he just knows where that daggone basketball is, and he's gonna make a play. They eat it up for each other. So I think playoffs need to be it's playoffs or bust. I think playoffs would help to convince Kuz. Also, draft.
You got to get that right.
They got to get the draft right. The Johnny Davis thing ain't work out. Let's go ahead and say it. I'm gonna just go ahead and say it because I'm tired of holding it in. It ain't work out. Not working out. Maybe in the next week or something. But right now, Johnny Davis not working out.
Johnny Davis is not working out. All right. So Said's favorite sport is about to kick off. We just had pitches and catches report.
Mm-hmm.
One, Steven Strasburg is not down in spring training. He's in Washington. Is it time for Steven Strasburg to retire?
You see me just shaking my head. I mean, I'm not trying to laugh at.
Right.
I need to understand the details of his contract. I'm gonna be very honest again, transparent. I don't think I understand the details of his contract. It's
when your body fails, your body fails.
It's not working, and he's very frustrated. He's very upset.
Right, and we're talking nerves too, so nerves take a while
because he wants it to so bad, and you see it, but it's not. I don't know. I don't want to, be the one like he should just go ahead and retire and make it a comeback. But it needs to be some serious conversations about his health and the probability of him recovering, because it already appears that he may not recover at 100%. So what are we doing here? Right. And then that's might have to make a very tough decision. And I mean, we know that and condolences to the Lerner family.
Yeah.
Ted Lerner passing earlier this week. But we know that the Nets, and I think they probably held off on a lot of that talk about selling the Nets because of Ted's
passing. Yeah.
but that team is another team too to watch from the sale perspective. And Strauss is a big part of that. And it doesn't look good for his future. That's in general from a baseball perspective. It just the injury is too great for his body, and it's reacting accordingly, unfortunately.
Well, what players can we look forward to seeing this year for the Nationals? Because I mean, the dismantling of the World Series champs is pretty much complete right now. You know, you still got Victor Robles and things like that, but like, what do we have to look forward to from the Nats this year?
I don't know. I'm going to be very honest. I don't know.
Right.
You know, I mean, it's just I don't, and I'm not one to be like, oh, I'm just going to, throw some names out and all of that. I would have to take a very hard look at the spring training roster and really try to understand, like, what are you doing, right? Like, what has happened? I know they brought in a lot of players, right? A lot of young players that they're going to bring in, and then there's a ton of them. And everybody, I talked to a few of my baseball colleagues, and they're like, oh, well, this one and that one. And I'm just like, man, you're coming off of a World Series championship just in 2019 and have completely dismantled the team. Ain't nobody trying to hear that, me included. And I don't even get into it. Like, what are we talking about here? The whole team is gone.
Yep.
So I again, this is one of those situations where it's like, okay, do you wait for the sale and then see what they do? I think the sale is a big, because I really don't know from a player perspective. These guys are really young. I know there's a lot to hope for, but it's like people who just love baseball will sit in those seats, and of course fans of other teams, but these guys don't have much. So I'm going to be actually paying a lot of attention to spring training, you all. So keep that in mind, and just really understand like what's going on over there. Because you never know, the team, the Commanders and the Nats could be probably getting sold around the same time.
Well, let's hope for the Nats sale for the Commander sale that it comes up quick. And let's take it back to football real fast. What's the latest that you've heard as far as the sale goes? I know that today I heard the sale isn't going as Dan Snyder would like it. He's asking for at least $6 billion, and people aren't offering that much.
I'll be honest. I'm very shocked that okay, so let me just say this. One, I'm shocked that he hasn't gotten anything higher than $6 billion, right? I think it's because it's him, honestly. Next thing is, I also think it could be smoke and mirrors, right? $6 billion, $6 billion, $6 billion. Everybody get your money together. You're probably gonna sell for like 7 or 8, maybe. Right? The owner of the 76ers, Josh Harris, has been to the facility. And it sounds like he really was, you know what I mean? He really wants the team. But is it him? I don't know if you all knew this, but I guess the Seattle will be sold soon.
Yep, that's the next team to go up.
So they're the next team that will be for sale here in the next couple years. And so, quite frankly, y'all, I know it's a lot of stuff about Jeff Bezos and everything like that, but he's the one who's got the money to blow all these people out the water and just buy the team.
All right, listen, I don't want you to ruin Christmas, but if Dan Snyder does not get the number that he wants, are we stuck with him as an owner? I mean, to say it need to throw some money down.
The NFL would step in, right, and be like,
yeah,
somebody coming by this team, because the NFL could say you're gonna take this $6 billion and get out of our way. Seriously,
I mean, because Denver sold for like $5 billion, right? I think that it wasn't even 5.5. I think it was like 5.4 or something like that, right? So if
it's supposed to happen very soon, though, y'all.
If he gets 5.8, could the NFL say no? That's enough because you still owe us money.
Right. They might absolutely. They could say take it.
Yeah.
They give you an opportunity to sell it yourself. as the owner, right? And you work through it. If you're just gonna be, kind of stubborn, like, nope, I want 6 billion, and I'm not taking 5.8, they can say you're gonna take 5.8.
And don't forget our cut.
And so, but I've got to be honest. I'm shocked that they're not getting, unless they're just lowballing right now. Again, smoke and mirrors. Like,
well, I mean, wouldn't you?
I was like, 6 billion. What was this team was supposed to be worth? Way more than that. I was shocked when I first heard that number, and it's true. So I think it's just public lowballing. Like if somebody tell you, okay, well, I buy from you $500, and you be like, what? $500? This thing worth $5,000, but I'm not gonna tell you. If you, I got $5,000 to pay for it, but if you're gonna sell it to me for $500, I'm giving you $500.
So, do you think that some of this is due to needing a new facility, needing a new stadium? Things got to be improved.
Are not up to par.
I mean, you was just in Arizona. I'm pretty sure you saw their facilities compared to the Commanders' facilities.
Yeah.
I mean, some college teams have better facilities than the Commanders right now.
That is true. So it's a lot of work to be done, to your point, right? I mean, it's a lot of work that would need to be done. In a perfect world, somebody would like to just swoop in and buy it and it already be set. But figuring out a facility, figuring out where the team is going to play games and all of that, that is a lot. That is a huge undertaking.
Do you think that the
on top of buying a team, and now I got to pay all this?
Do you think that more people be willing to work with a different owner other than Dan Snyder? Like, do you think that the mayor of DC would be willing to work with a new owner and not Dan Snyder? Because we had DC, Virginia, and Maryland all tell Dan Snyder no.
Well, the mayor of DC wanted to work with Dan Snyder. She didn't care. But it was other legislators that absolutely cared. And they were like, no. So with that being said, depending on here's another thing too for everyone to consider. The ownership groups in the NFL, in any league, they care about the brand, right? So I told people, I may have said this on here as well, on First String, go and look at the teams that did, or the ownership groups that did not win the bid for the Broncos.
Oh, yeah.
And know that all of them are putting in a bid for the Commanders.
Commanders, yep.
And look at those groups as well and say, which one of these folks in the ownership group are more attractive from a brand perspective, right? Who does the NFL want to be associated with? Who's it going to be cool to say, oh, we have them in our ownership group and we have them and them, and it all is part of the whole advertising brand, right? It's all perks to this stuff, and that's where you'll more than likely find the answer nearby. And I tell people another time, again, where there's smoke, there's fire, or again, smoke and mirrors. I mean, we've been hearing about this Jeff Bezos thing for a very long time.
Right.
So, he's going to have to give up them Thursdays, ain't he?
Right. If he had an opportunity, I'm sure he'll take it. Why not? But again, I think it's an attractive option. I mean, it is. And a lot of people want to, and I could be totally wrong about this, but from a business perspective, the numbers for the team name are up. So people might hate the name, but they're buying all the merchandise,
right,
which does not convey that the team name is hated.
Right.
We just ain't like Major Tutty.
First off, I love Major Tutty.
I'm gonna have to agree with.
But it's okay.
Yeah.
I did one in the Pro Bowl picture. Did y'all see that? I'm getting off topic, but did you see the Pro Bowl picture? I said, now that's taking it too far.
Oh yeah, Tutty's everywhere.
Going in the Pro Bowl picture.
He was everywhere. He had to. First, you don't have to say Major Tutty was joined by. It was Terry McLaurin, Deron Payne, Reed. They're joined by Major Tutty. Yeah, Tutty didn't make the Pro Bowl. Okay,
we got a whole press release on Major Tutty.
Right. Seagull, we want to thank you for joining us and dropping all these jewels for us. Please stand by. You're gonna like something here in a minute. Say it. You ready?
Always ready to put.
All right. First things first. Okay. Don't forget to join us on Saturday. We will have a bunch of picks for you guys to play over the weekend. We got some NBA All-Star Weekend things that we'll have for you guys as well. And like I said, we're getting set for our NCAA tournament challenge again, where we'll be giving away $150 Visa gift cards, First Ring Podcast t-shirt, hat, and sweatshirt, plus much more. I should have some more information for you guys on Saturday when you join us. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the First Ring Podcast. Give us that good thumbs up. Hit the bell to enable alerts for new content just like this. Listen, First Ring Podcast is second to none. Come get some. Say it, tell them.
My 3-piece in jeopardy. Go Dogs.
Go Dogs.
Ready for your beats? My first song from the person.